From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Well, believe it or not, the cooling trend starts today. Now, when you look at the forecast high today in the Valley in particular, you say, what are you, crazy? If the cooling trend starts today, well, it does. We saw a high of 112 degrees for the north end of the valley, in particular, Redding and Red Bluff. Today, about 2 degrees cooler. So instead of 112, more like 110. So you kind of get what I'm saying here. Yes, the temperature trend is starting, but it's going to be a slow start. Let's just put it that way. Next week, though, that's when we're really going to notice the drop in the temperatures. In fact, not only dropping significantly, but most likely even dropping below normal for this time of the year. We'll certainly take it. All right, let's talk about the fire potential. It has increased a bit over the last few days. Now, yellow indicates that it's a low risk, and of course the green, where we typically actually on the coast are green, but even the coast is looking at a low risk. It's the brown where we have what's known as a moderate risk. So it has been upticked just a little bit, and I'll tell you why. The winds are picking up in some areas, and I'll show what I'm talking about here. Let's take you through the day today. And you can see as we go in the afternoon, you see how the winds kind of pick up around 15 and maybe even a little over 20 miles per hour. Something to at least take into consideration when you're out and about today, and if you're doing any outside chores, because it's dry, number one, but not as dry as it is off to the east. See, the yellows indicate that we're kind of between dry and humid, so not terribly dry. And that's the reason why it is kind of in that moderate stage here. But overall, the winds are picking up a little bit here. Not only today, but I think as we go into Sunday morning, they're dying down, but then by Sunday afternoon, they'll start to kind of pick back up again. And notice it's getting even a little bit drier too. You're starting to see a lot of these oranges and reds. That's indicating drier conditions here that we're looking at there. So you just kind of keep that in mind. Nothing terribly concerning, but something we just need to kind of think about here as we progress over the next few days. All right, so here's your hour-by-hour forecast for the valley. About 110 degrees for Redding, 109 for Red Bluff and Chico, about 105 degrees. For the mountains, yeah, we should stay below 100 degrees for most of us, although places like Susanville, Paradise, yeah, you could get up to about 100 degrees here for today. The heat alert still continues until 11 o'clock tonight, so just be aware of that. It's going to be pretty hot out there today, but the good news is those temperatures will start to drop after today especially. Take a look at the 10-day trend. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's today, 110 degrees. Now Sunday, tomorrow, is a bit of that transition day between the below normal temperatures and the hot temperatures. So we're 105 on Sunday, still fairly hot. But look at next week. Now the blue line is the average high for this time of the year in Redding. Now the average high right here, 101 degrees. Okay, so you can see we're actually going to be below that for Monday all the way through that next Saturday. And then we're back up to about 100 degrees after that, a slight uptick. But other than that, I mean, this is a long stretch of temperatures around or just below normal for this time of year. We'll certainly take it. And the reason being, well, that heat that we're seeing now, it's pushing itself down to the south and east. We take you all the way through next week. This little pocket of cooler air rises to the north. Another area of low pressure and cooler air continues to kind of stay put, and that helps to keep our temperatures down through next week. But we're also tracking that monsoon moisture. We will see some more clouds going into Saturday, Sunday, and looks like even into early next week. But a lot of those clouds will start to move out as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday of next week. So overall, we're not expecting any thunderstorms in the mountains. We're just expecting to see some of those clouds move in, especially for this weekend, and not to mention going into parts of early next week. Let's take you back to that map here. I want to show you here the highs that we see for today. 110 degrees for Redding. So again, about 2 degrees cooler than what we saw on Friday. You hate to use the word cooler, but I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, it is cooler. 110 is cooler than 112. 109 degrees for Red Bluff, 105 for Chico, 104 for Oroville, and mainly in the 90s for the higher elevations. But there are some spots in the mountains that could touch 100 degrees here. All right, now let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. And there you can see for Mount Shasta, we're going to be about 93 degrees by Sunday and upper 80s to low 90s through next week. We'll certainly take that. And El Tourist, about the same. Whereas Susanville, I think you're going to stay in the 90s, but barely. You're talking 92 degrees for Monday, down to 90 by next Thursday. In the Valley, I think Redding is going to be looking at some of the warmer temperatures in the upper 90s here pretty much through all of next week. Red Bluff in the upper 90s. But look at Chico. I mean, you're down to 95 degrees by Monday and in the low 90s by next Thursday and Friday.